Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, joined by Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral here in Los Angeles at the Panini VIP Players Lounge, ahead of the Super Bowl, and we are stoked, Matt, for you to be joining us here, talking the ball. First and foremost, what do you think of this this environment here? This is not too shabby, huh?
Not at all. I mean, this is definitely my first time, really being in the city and just experiencing it. Obviously, I'm not too far from here, but I had no reason to come to LA. But I mean, yeah, this is a pretty nice spot that they got set up here, for sure.
To follow up on Panini, you get a chance to be one of the rated rookies this year, and
yeah.
What was your awareness of that brand before it was your turn to step into those shoes, and what does that carry for you to be one of the showcase rookies in this year's class?
I mean, truthfully, I didn't know much about it because the people that have been through the process that I've spoke to, they didn't really say much about it. But come to find out, doing a little research, like this is one of the biggest companies to do it in this game. But I'm excited, and I couldn't be more thankful to be in this position.
So Matt, you mentioned you're from around here.
Yeah.
You played college football in Mississippi, in Oxford.
Yeah.
Quite the transition. What was that like for you, and what drew you to want to kind of distance yourself maybe from this area?
Honestly, I just wanted to get out. Just growing up, going to high school, I went to Oaks Christian for a little bit, and then I transferred to Long Beach Poly. I just wanted something different, and the SEC doesn't get any better than that. After experiencing some things personally, and me just wanting to get out. And understanding that football does mean more in the SEC, and people do care a lot more than they do out here about college football, and that's just something I wanted to be a part of. I'm going up against the best of the best every weekend, and honestly, I wouldn't have changed my decision going back.
Matt, you had a chance to play for one of the most entertaining, aggressive, offensive minds in college football with Coach Kiffin, and we had to grill you about Coach and what it was like playing for him, and what his mentality and approach to playing offense impacts you as the quarterback, and by extension everybody else on the offense.
I mean, honestly, it was just about trusting his whole thing was about trusting the players, and me being the position I'm at, and him seeing my work ethic, and him seeing me putting in the time with him and Coach Lebby and Holichek. They trusted me out there, so that's the reason why we went for it so much on fourth down. That's why we took shots when we took shots. That's they trusted me to hit the check down when it was necessary. So just being able to be in that position, and experience that with them, because I didn't know much. I thought I knew how to watch film. I thought I knew what cover 4 was. I thought I knew, and then these guys came in, and it's like, oh wow, that opened up a whole new world to me. And as far as when that happened for me, I just wanted to see how far I could take it, and then my motivation was just different. My drive was different, and I was in there constantly with them, and that's what got me here.
You feel like you found that balance? Because I know one of the questions for you coming into 2021 was you had a couple of games where the turnovers kind of got away from you. You're pressing a little bit. You felt like you found that tightrope ability to kind of walk that line with that trust to the players? Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just honestly, it was just one of those days. But as far as what happened, it was drop 8. I never learned about it. I didn't understand what the defense was trying to prevent in drop 8. We going into that specific game, we thought they were going to do something completely different, and all they were doing was just playing back, and when a team does that, you just got to take what they give you. You don't need to force anything down the field, and obviously I learned from it, but it was a process. After that situation, teams started to do it a lot more, and I expected them to do it a lot more because why wouldn't they? Right.
And just taking it a step further from 20 to 21, it got to the point to where the coaches would give me a play, the coaches would give me a defense. Okay, draw it up. All right, where do you expect the ball going? And just doing that and going through that whole process throughout our entire playbook, and doing what we think this team is going to be doing, because we know that DC, we've seen the film, we know what they're going to be, we know what majority of what they're going to be running, and that's the type of process that we had. And me being in there as much as I was in there, it helped, and it definitely translated to the field.
So Matt, the last time we watched you was in the bowl game, obviously the injury there. Where are you at? How are things going with the ankle, and Are you on track to throw at the combine? Like where are you at in terms of recovering from that and moving forward?
I'm definitely on track. I'm definitely better in a better spot than taking the surgery step, because it wasn't necessary. But as far as throwing and running, I started doing that 2 weeks ago. So I mean, I'm definitely on track for sure. I'm ahead of the 8 ball.
Awesome. So we just kind of build off on some of the stuff Kyle was asking you about with Lane Kiffin. Obviously, you guys spent a lot of time together, game planning, getting ready for opponents and those types of things. Is there a favorite Lane Kiffin story that you have that you want to share with us?
Lane, yeah, there is. Shoot, I don't even know where to start. There's so many. So, okay, South Carolina, for example. I just remember, everybody knows about the whole clipboard thing,
yeah.
and then it got to the kicking of. Oh, excuse me. It got to the whole kicking of the clipboard, and just him being. Okay, for example, the South Carolina game, when he did throw that clipboard for the first time, I knew exactly what he was going to call. Like as I was checking the play, he was whistling to check to that play, because we had to look. We had Elijah Moore one-on-one. Why are they doing that? And the dude was playing off. The nickel was playing off an inside leverage, so we had to move for a double move and go. And so as soon as I'm checking to that, he whistles. And then I look, and then he's calling the play, and I'm like, I already know what you're doing. So I called the play. I see the strong rotation. I pump the safety. The safety completely goes that way, and then I just see Elijah Moore 30 yards down the field with nobody around, and I'm just like, all right, don't mess this up. Just give him the ball. And as soon as that play happened, he goes, I remember him coming to me after I had scored, and he's like, why didn't you look at why did you not look at me? I'm like, I already knew what you were about to call. And then after that, he just gave me a big hug, and then he's like, all right, go talk to the phone, talk to Lev. And after that, it was just like, I don't know, that environment that we were in the locker room afterwards, it was something that, if I were to experience it again, I'd be very lucky, just because it was different. The camaraderie from the coaches to players, player to player, it was different.
Well, we've talked to a lot of guys here today. We talked to Garrett Wilson, we talked to Aiden Hutchinson, we talked to Ricky Williams, we talked to Elijah Mitchell. Everybody's talked about that fit and players in certain environments and setting them up for success. And I guess I wanted to get your thoughts on, as the quarterback, obviously you have a unique role in that, because you are the extension of the players to the coaches, and your extension of the coaches down to the players. So how do you carry that weight of being that conduit that goes both ways?
I think just being in the, like I said, it comes with having the experience, being with the coaches as much as I am with the players. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say. I was in the coaches' meetings. I was in the offensive staff meetings. I was in those meetings where it was just only coaches, and I was translating. How are the players feeling? How are the O-line feeling? There's time in fall camp where we'd be going full pads, and the players are just like, why are we doing this? Like we were just doing this the whole week, and it's not saying like, oh, I'm gonna get you guys out of this. It was more of just finding that happy medium of, we're gonna get the best out. We're gonna get the best out of you guys, but without the right way. We're not gonna make you do something you don't want to do, but if it's necessary, we have to do it. And just being able, someone being able to communicate that from player to coach. Some coaches would just be like, "Get out of my office! Like, we're doing this." Kiffin wasn't like that. Kiffin was gonna hear you. Kiffin was gonna hear me out. Levy was gonna hear me out. And there was a time where we were going full pads, and then O-line was like, dude, why are we doing this? Because they were beat up, they were hurt, and I genuinely, I spoke to coach, seriously, on a one-on-one, and all right, fine, we'll go to Spiders. And we had a good practice mentally, and we got done what we needed to get done. So I feel like having that fine line of understanding what needs to get done, and understanding not stepping on the toes of the coach. And I was comfortable enough with Coach Kiffin to talk to him about that type of stuff. So I mean, I definitely would say that there was not a college player in the country with a relationship from coach to player that I had with my coaches, and no way. So I mean, it's truly a blessing that they came into my life when they did. You know, I got lucky because I was almost transferring after the coaching transition because, you know, I didn't know what was happening, and, you know, found out Lane Kiffin got hired, and I'm like, okay, I'll just take a shot. And, you know, like I said, it's a blessing that it happened.
So Matt, I know you're familiar with what we do at the Draft Network, and that's obviously scouting football players.
Yeah.
You know, looking for traits in these guys. And so, if you had to do that, if you were scouting football players and you had to pick a quarterback for your team, what are some of the top traits that you'd be looking for?
I'd be looking for leadership, really just holding everybody accountable, not only himself, but getting out of his comfort zone and being able to not take any shortcuts. And I know that there's a fine line of doing that because you got to check yourself first, but the leadership, you know, and just wearing their heart on their sleeve. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be that big hoorah guy, but I mean, it's got to be shown in your work ethic. You know, you got to show your team that you're the dude. You know, you got to be in there before they are. You got to be in there before when they're walking in to go into the locker room and you're already sweating and you're already working. You know, those are the types of things that, you know, they go a long way. As far as little things of leadership, you know, cleaning up the locker room, you know, and as far as picking up trash that's not yours, you know, that stuff goes a long way with people. And even if they don't say anything, they're watching you do it. It's impacted people, and I'm saying this from experience because I did it. I didn't want to do it, but I had, like, as far as like picking up the trash that's being left. No, I don't want to go pick up the trash, but I'm not going to be that guy that's just going to walk by it and be like, oh, that's not my problem. We have a janitor, he'll go do it. Like that's not the way you go about it. And that definitely changed the whole locker room mentality because it's just this trickle effect. Oh, one older guy sees it, then he's going to start doing it, and then he sees a young guy doing it, and then it's just showing the younger guys the right way. So I mean, it really went into that whole saying that Coach Kiffin would say in Levied, player-led, not coach-fed. You know, there's only so much a coach can do for a team. The coach isn't going to go out there and, you know, help you guys win. Yeah, he's going to create the scheme, he's going to put you in the best spots to win, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the players to do it. And if the players can't count on each other, then if you can't do the little things right, the big things aren't going to happen. You do the little things right, the big things take care of themselves. And that's something that I've learned from experience.
How about from a physical standpoint? You know, the quarterback position, there's a lot of different ways it can be done. You got runners, you got dual threat guys, you got passers. Like, you've obviously had the ability to win in both ways yourself.
Yeah.
But like if you're assessing that quarterback position, what's like the tool or the club in the bag that you think is able to really help make dynamic plays happen?
Mentally. I mean, you can have a weak arm. You don't need to have the strongest arm. You don't need to have, you know, the fastest. You don't need to be the fastest person out there. But you need to understand what the defense is doing, and you need to understand the concepts that are being ran and why they're calling these concepts, and understanding situations, understanding, you know, why they're calling these plays in these certain situations and what they want to get out of it. The mental part is just as big as the physical part as far as for a quarterback.
Can you walk me through the end of the Arkansas game, as far as that was this heavyweight fight, back and forth, up and down the field. They score with like a minute and change left, and then you guys get the chance to come down and win the football game.
Yeah.
So what is it about your game and the offense that you ran at Ole Miss that you feel like is encapsulated in that end of game situational football type experience?
I just feel like it was the mentality going into it. I mean, me personally, I had the chip on my shoulder because of what happened last season, and I know the team saw that in the preparation. That was, I mean, they see it every week, but specifically that week, it was a big week, and you know, the team knows that because they know that we should have won that game last year, and they ultimately, I told them they know it was my fault that we lost, and so, you know, I carried that with me. I carried that with me a lot, even when I was working out in fourth quarter when we were doing our runs. Like, a lot of that motivation came from that, and honestly, it just came from the aggression of, we call it controlled aggression. We knew what they were going to be doing. They weren't changing it up much, but they were still in drop 8, but they were running cover 1. Their safeties were low. And I specifically remember the series before that, Braylon, we were just running stops on them all day because they were just playing off. They don't want to get beat deep. They were just playing off, and they were in cover 1. And I was just feeding Braylon the ball to the boundary. And then on that one play where it was a double move. It was a hitch and go. He ran 5 yards, stopped, turned around, and then went. I didn't want to say that was the game winning, but they had a chance to score. Mm-hmm. But that was a touchdown that put us over the top. And I remember Kiffin or Levy was saying on the phone, if they do that again, call the double move. And I remember looking at Braylon, and I told Braylon, me and Braylon never communicated, like Elijah Moore. Me and Elijah never communicated, we just knew. So like when I looked at Elijah and I just did that, he already knew what I was thinking. So I looked at Braylon and I did that, and he's like, all right, did it, manipulated the safety, and then boom, he's gone down the field. And just being able to be on the same page and have the chemistry with those guys on and off the field, it definitely helps. Definitely helps in situations like that. And it was definitely it was a nail biter when it came down to the last 7 seconds, for sure, because it was out of my control. So I mean, I did all I could, and my defense stepped up and they took care of it.
So Matt, we got a lot of good quarterbacks in this class, and you're certainly right there in the mix of it. What makes you different? What separates you from these other top guys?
My leadership and just my work ethic. I really believe you can ask anybody in the building. I was the first one there. I was the first one there before Kiffin. I was the first one there before Levy. And I was there after practice. I was there doing reps after practice. And as far as leadership goes, I'm not, like I said, I'm not the big hoorah guy, but I'm gonna speak with intent, and I'm gonna speak up if something needs to be said. And I feel like that's all. I mean, that's really the biggest attributes that you need as a quarterback. And physically, I'm not worried about my physical. Yeah, there's room for growth, obviously, but the great ones, and what do the great ones have in common? It's their mental game, and that's something that I've been really working on, just as far as balancing out life and balancing out football. And really, you balance out life, the football stuff will take care of it. And my leadership is different just because I can relate to a lot of guys that have that haven't had the best lives. They've that grew up with they're just less fortunate, and it's awful that some people had to go through the stuff that they went through. But me making myself uncomfortable, and me and them understanding that I'm uncomfortable saying this to you guys, but I'm still doing it. That gives them a sense of, oh, I'm okay with opening up to this guy just because they know I care. So I think that's what just separates me the most, is just my leadership and being able to take command of a team.
Matt, we really appreciate your time. That's going to do it for us here at the Panini VIP Player Lounge here in Los Angeles. Best of luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Great chatting with you.
Thanks, Matt. Enjoyed it.